Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning. Welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk. I am an integrative health practitioner. And what integrative health is, it is a combination of different modalities: traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Ayurvedic medicine, which is over 6,000 years old, and nutrition. And we just kind of wrap it all up into integrative health and figure out the root cause of what is going on with your symptoms. We don't put a Band-Aid on stuff. We really try to dig deep through functional lab testing so that we can find out why you're having the symptoms you're having, either rebalance you, get rid of overages, supplement when you're deficient, and get you on the road to being balanced so that you are healthy and not having these symptoms anymore. So last week we started talking about mindset. And mindset is one of those things that I don't think we really put enough into, because we will never achieve anything unless we have the mindset to do it. And it could go from something very basic and easy, that's a habit, and your mind is used to it, so it's easy and it has no problem with it. But when you try to change, when you try to introduce a new concept, your brain really does the over-under on how painful it's going to be, if that change is actually going to happen. It's going to start telling you, oh, just stay in your comfort zone. So, our brain, it's wired definitely to prioritize, efficiencies, predictability, and most of all, survival. There's lots of different parts of the brain, and you can do, massive studies about psychological and neurological factors that go into change. And your brain, it's very effective in efficiency. It prefers routine. It needs to conserve energy, so the familiar patterns, the habits, the small little habits, they become encoded in your brain, and so habits are much more comfortable to your brain. And, if there is any kind of uncertainty, that's going to trigger a fear response in your brain. And, the part of your brain that's responsible for emotions, it's going to activate when it starts feeling like you're trying to change something, for good or bad. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just detecting that change. And there are cognitive biases. Your brain wants to stay in the status quo. It wants to remain as is. It's comfortable, even if it's an unhealthy situation. Your body has become very comfortable in that, even if you're having some symptoms, any kind of symptom, even if it's, let's just take the common cold. Once you start having those sniffles, your brain is detecting a change, and you immediately start going into that fight or flight to start fighting off whatever is happening to you. I talk about changing our mind all the time, and it sounds so simple, just change your mind. It's not. Changing our mind, it requires neuroplasticity, which your brain is very capable of neuroplasticity. It's capable of change. It's capable to adapt. Over time, humans have had to adapt through different weather patterns, through famines, through wars. And so the brain has that ability to adapt. And it's because of neuroplasticity, but it's gradual. It's very powerful, but it's gradual, and you've got to give it some time. Your brain loves comfort zones, like I said before. It loves familiar routines and environments. So when you step into some kind of change, all of a sudden your brain's emotional security is at stake. Um, we also have a lot of cultural and social conditioning about memories, about brains, about our brain, about our habits. And past experiences are going to define how quickly we can change. And so today, I'm going to continue on with the mindset. I had a guest on last week and we talked about mindset and why mindset matters in our success over anything that we do, what we try to accomplish, what we try to change. And, when our brain detects an emotional, like getting out of that comfort zone, it's going to fight you. And when you have tried something over and over again and nothing seems to work, and I'm going to kind of go the health and diet route because that seems to be the biggest challenge for people, is when you're trying to change something about your health and it requires changing a habit. It really requires changing your mindset first and foremost before you even start that new diet, start that new exercise program, whatever it is. It really takes the mindset. So I want to focus on mindset again. I want to just kind of wrap it up from what we were talking about last week, and how mindset really, really matters in anything that you're trying to do. And I know I talk about health and gut health, but it's really anything, whether you're trying to do better financially, if you're trying a new career, if you're trying to learn an instrument. Let's talk about how mindset is really the first thing that you need to focus on. So we're going to break for a quick commercial, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about mindset. So hang on with me and come back soon.
Hello? Your health is calling. Feeling bloated, low on energy, dealing with hormone imbalances? Integrative health coach Sue Kostyk is here to assist you. Reach out to Sue for practical health solutions guided by her professional training as a holistic coach. Sue specializes in identifying the underlying causes of health issues and restoring balance. Don't let your health concerns impact your well-being. Contact Sue Kostyk today at 917-362-5176 or via email at sue@symmetryhealthandwellness.com, and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.
You've been watching Hello, Your Health is Calling. Join me as we dive into the realms of longevity, nutrition, stress management, and toxin removal, all without the use of harsh pharmaceuticals. And now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back. So success mindset, or why does our mindset matter? And as I said before, and I've actually talked about this on other podcasts, and you can go back on YouTube in the Reinvented Life Network. Hello, Your Health is Calling. There are some other podcasts about mindset and success. And, our mind is so strong. How many times have you heard the stories of people who have had terminal illnesses? They've only got a little bit to live, and then, 12 years later, they're still alive and thriving because they made up their mind that they were not going to die. And I know those are, that's like a far-reaching example. But do you know anyone? Is there anyone in your life that you would say whatever they put their mind to, they accomplish? And I know we all know those people. I do personally. And it's just funny because when she says, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm going to do it, I know that she's going to come back and say that she was successful because her mind is so strong. in motivating her to keep working through those things that are going to get her to her end goal. And it's easier said than done. I know, if you can't change your situation, change your mind. But if we take a look at, mental roadblocks, what's blocking us? Is it maybe somebody else's disbelief in you? Is it your own disbelief in you? Where are you coming from when you try to put your mind to something? It really matters how you talk to yourself. It really matters, those thoughts. And whenever you're trying to change something, there's an immediate fear of failure, because in our society, we have built failure up to be such a bad thing. And, you can, just to make yourself feel better about failure, you can go back throughout history when all the great inventors, athletes, all those things, you can go back and find people who have failed over and over and over again, but never stopped, because they had their eye on the prize, so to speak. And I actually just read something about one of the players in the Super Bowl on the Eagles who lost. I might get this wrong, so don't come after me, but the concept is correct. But he, in high school, lost a national league in the Superdome where he played the Super Bowl. And then throughout college, continued to win, and then finally winning the Super Bowl in the same Superdome that he lost in high school. So, keeping with something that you're perceiving as you're failing. But I love the adage of failing through something and just keep going. Learn the lessons. When you have setbacks, that also builds resilience too. And having that never give up attitude, you're just building that resilience muscle. And, change often comes with difficulties. And if you have that resilient mindset, those difficulties, those setbacks are learning opportunities. It really allows you to bounce back. It's, one of those great learning tools that we're given, but so often we fail once and then we're afraid, and that fear sets in. So, another thing is unrealistic expectations. We put ourselves in a position of perfection. And I'm smiling because I do it to myself all the time. And perfectionism it's an idol. It's one of those things that, again, our society has told us that, you're not successful unless you're doing things perfectly. And not every day is going to be perfect. And, the clients that I have working on diet changes, on exercise changes, even changes in grocery shopping. It's like every day is not going to be perfect. And if you are on any kind of health journey, you know that it's really 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And understanding that you really can't have change without making changes and tweaking things and letting the human experience be part of it, because it is part of the human experience of change. Nobody stays the same as they were when they were growing up, because you learn, you fail, you succeed. So, when you are trying to make changes and you have unrealistic expectations on yourself, you're really keeping yourself stuck, and you're kind of forcing your dreams to go away. And it could be a dream of anything. And again, I talk about health because that's what I know the best. But this mindset thing, it really is anything. It's anything. I could make a list of all the different things that I list at the end of last year that I want to do this year. And some of them get done and some of them don't. And it's just, everybody is destined for more. And if you have that positive mind attitude, you will get more. And I don't necessarily believe in manifesting to the universe or anything like that, but I do believe that what you think about the most is actually what is going to happen and what is going to be brought to you. Whatever you believe in, what you keep your mind on is what's going to happen. And have you ever bought a new car or, a new purse or something new, and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere? A few years ago, I got a new car, and I never really paid too much attention to this model or make or anything. And then all of a sudden everybody else is driving the same car. So it's what you're focusing on is what you're going to see and what's going to come into your life. So, as you are making changes, you need to really ask questions, and you need to ask the right questions about yourself, about culture, about your mindset about success. It's, again, the more you exercise your mind, the more it's going to be able to allow you to make those positive changes. And, I tell people to ask questions. I do work very hand in hand with conventional medicine. Some of you know my story with my daughter who had leukemia when she was 5, and conventional medicine saved her life. However, that medicine also put her in more medical issues later on as she was growing up. And had I known then what I know now, I would have been asking all sorts of questions. I would have been hand in hand with a naturopath oncologist, with the doctors that, helped save her life, to make sure that her body was being built up after it was being pretty much torn down, to get rid of the cancer. But, asking questions, being your advocate. If you're not okay with the answer, you don't necessarily have to agree with it, but do your research and, follow what other people have done, people who are successful doing what you're trying to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're copying anybody, but if someone has been successful in something that you're trying to achieve, then it might be kind of good to understand how they got there. And I bet you part of it was mindset. I bet you they put their mind to something. Excuse me. So, we have a microwave mentality, and we want everything yesterday, today, an hour. We want that success right now. And, I do always blame our society because we've done this to ourselves. If you are my age, in 60s, even in your 50s, life was a lot slower when we were growing up. And you probably all ate dinner together. You probably had most of your meals cooked at home. You probably did not really have fast food. I mean, I think, honestly, the only fast food chains when I was in high school were McDonald's and I think Jack in the Box. Oh, Taco Bell too. So 3. Now fast food is just rampant. And, we have to spend the time to make the changes that we're looking to do. Again, this kind of has to do with mindset, because we have to convince our brain that it's okay to take the time to do something right and to take the steps that you need to take to make permanent change. And I'm going to use diet because, that is one of the number one things I help people with. And diet culture says, do something quickly and then you can stop. But that's not creating long-term change. That's only doing the next fad thing that gives you that instant gratification. But it's not something that is going to stay with you. It's not permanent change, because 99% of the diets out there are going to give you that change quickly. But then you're going to go back to your old ways because you haven't changed your mind. You haven't changed those habits that have become so comfortable to you. Part of your mindset too is really understanding that you can do anything. And, I put Listen to Mom in here because I was reading a book and this very renowned doctor was talking about mindset. And, as we're growing up, we roll our eyes at our mom, right? I did. And my mom was, back in the 70s, she was diagnosed with hypoglycemia. And she figured out through research and reading that she needed to cut out sugar and dairy and wheat from her diet because she also had arthritis. And she was kind of like a pioneer in what I'm doing now. And I'm telling you, I would roll my eyes at her every time she would bring up the fact that sugar was bad, refined sugar, that processed foods were bad. I would just be like, Mom, it's good for you, not necessarily good for everybody. And, now, I'm like, okay, I'm doing what my mom did. I am not hiding bran in my children's sandwiches, though. She did that because bran all of a sudden was like this craze in the 70s. And so I'd open my sandwich and there'd be a pile of bran in it. But, and then another thing I hear too when I'm talking about mindset is, well, my mom had this, or my dad had this, or my grandmother had this. And yes, genetics plays a role. I am not minimizing that at all. But it's not your death sentence. It's not your diagnosis, because genetics definitely load the gun. But what's happened is our lifestyle is what's pulling the trigger. And, it's really the sum of all your choices. And, you can take almost every inflammatory disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, genetics, yes. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be the one with it if you follow a lifestyle that is complementary to keeping that at bay. So, and that's where integrative health comes in as well, because, God gave us everything we need. And you can go to things of the earth that will help you if you tend towards high blood pressure. You don't necessarily have to go on the medication, because the medication is not making it go away. When you start to peel back the onion and go through some functional lab testing, then you figure out what the root cause is that's causing that high blood pressure or that high cholesterol or that lupus or, the type 2 diabetes. Then you start to understand what's happened over the course of years to get you where your genetics dictate what's going on. So it's really, the sum of your choices. And, when we go for change, procrastination is actually one of the biggest things that will cause the death of your dream. We start to analyze, can I do this? Can I not do this? What will people think? What will my family think? Again, that perfection thing sets in, and we start thinking, well, if I can't do this 100%, then I'm not doing it all. I was that person. When I was going on my health journey, if I could not work out for 45 minutes, then I would not go work out. And as I speak it, sounds like the most ridiculous thing in the world, but I had all these rules set up. And so, what I'm telling you is, don't go for that perfection. Just go for the progress. If you can't work out 5 days a week, then work out 3 days, work out 2 days. Start with 1 day, start with whatever you can, start with 10 minutes. It's really getting started and not second guessing yourself. Put one foot in front of the other, just keep swimming. I can think of all these encouraging adages that we could go on and on. And, I think the biggest thing, if you take away from today's talk, is that things take time. Your body did not get in the shape that it's in 2 months. So why would you expect your body to return in 2 months? It doesn't happen. Fun fact, it takes 12 months for 97% of your body to regenerate your cells, your blood, everything else. All the way down to your DNA takes 12 months. And that's not even 100%. That's only 97%. It takes 120 days for your red blood cells to turn over. So in order to get well, to get in shape, to heal from disease, we have to understand that it takes time. And I'm not saying that you're not going to have any early wins, because really when you start something, your body's going to respond very positively and you're going to get those early wins. But to be truly well and, to overcome years and years of damage, it's going to take time. I'm not saying it's going to take 12 months. It really depends. If you're interested in functional lab testing, please send an email to support@helloyourhealthiscalling, because what we'll do is we'll test for whatever your symptoms are showing us, and then we'll figure out exactly what needs to be done. It could take 3 months. It could take 6 months. It could take 9 months. It just depends on what we're finding. And when we test, we're 1,000% certain of what we're doing. So it's not like, trial and error. It takes time. There are easy buttons out there. There's easy ways. I'm not going to name names, but there's one that's rampant right now. But what we're finding out too is there's a lot of damage that's being done with some of these easy ways of getting healthy. And, your health is so important. If you're serious about changing, you will find a way. And if you're not, you'll find an excuse. And I know that sounds really harsh, but we as humans are so great at excuses. And we kind of wrap them up in really nice, tidy packages. And an excuse could be, we might say, oh, it's a justification. It's like the reasons why, but it's really an excuse. And unless your mindset is that you truly, truly want to change something in your life, then you're just going to find excuses all day long. And it might not be the timing for you. Because honestly, I say this over and over again, timing is everything. I can't tell you how many discovery calls I've had with people that we talk about stuff and they're, yeah. And then they come back and they said, you know what, it's just not the right time right now. And I agree. Because if your mindset is not there, then the timing is not right. And that's not a negative thing. I'm not saying that to, bash anybody or anything, because it really, truly, to make any type of good, permanent change in any area of your life, the timing has to be there and you have to be able to work on your mindset. So please contact me, support@helloyourhealthiscalling. Get started. Let's do some lab testing. Let's have some fun. And thank you for coming in on here and watching this about mindset. Mindset is so important. Your health is not a hobby. It really is important. And if your health is calling, please answer. Try to figure out why your health is giving you some messages. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.